News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moscow.
Karen, we begin with the latest on talks between the U.S. and Iran. Both countries traded messages over the weekend seeking changes to a draft agreement that would extend their ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump posted on social media that the talks will work out well, despite the latest clashes near the strait. Former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton says the president may be getting a deal that's best for him, but maybe not for the country.
This is a deal about gasoline prices at the pump in the United States. Trump worries, obviously, about the price levels people are paying. He's worried about the effect on inflation. He's worried about the effect on the elections in November. But this is not a deal that really ends the war in a satisfactory way for the United States.
Former National Security Advisor John Bolton spoke with David Gura and Christina Ruffini on Bloomberg this weekend. Catch the show live every weekend starting at 7 a.m. Wall Street time on Bloomberg Radio, Bloomberg Television, and the Bloomberg Business app.
Well, Nathan, part of the ceasefire initiative would have Iran proxy Hezbollah stop all attacks on Israel, while Israel refrains from further escalation in Lebanon. But Israel expanded its ground assault into the country over the weekend. Bloomberg's Dana Craich covers the Middle East and says it's the broadest incursion in a quarter century.
They have seized a strategic ridge, which is the Beaufort Ridge, and that oversees the Galilee, which is a lot of the northern community in Israel, which have come under fire from Hezbollah. This could be a problem for the U.S. and the Iranians. Iran has always said that part of any deal with the U.S. should ensure a halt to all conflicts in the region, primarily the one in Lebanon.
And Bloomberg's Dana Craich adds that the U.S. is sponsoring talks between Israel and Lebanon to end the crisis.
And right now, Karen, oil is rebounding. Brent's headed for its first daily gain in 4 sessions. It's up more than 3% at $94 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate's above $90 a barrel. That's a gain of 3.75%. ExxonMobil executives are warning the U.S. crude reserves are running dangerously low, but National Economic Council Director Kevin Hegseth says prices will come down as more traffic moves through Hormuz.
When you get the straits open, then it's about 300 nautical miles per day for one of those big tankers. And so the people in Pakistan and India that have refineries that are mostly shut down are going to get their oil. They'll turn the refineries up, and then refined product prices will go down globally.
White House economic advisor Kevin Hegseth appeared on ABC's This Week, heard every Sunday on Bloomberg Radio.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey, Nathan, Governor Mikey Sherrill says federal officials will allow visitors back inside the Delaney Hall Immigrant Detention Center in Newark. The detention center, overseen by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, suspended visits last week as tensions escalated over living conditions for detainees. The situation reached a boiling point this weekend when protesters threw projectiles at police, set fires, and fought over barricades. Governor Sherrill told reporters that, quote, violent, chaotic clashes hurt everyone.
I am very concerned about what's going on in Delaney Hall. And this is all taking away from the protesters who have been very, I think, effective at bringing attention to that.
New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill called on the Department of Homeland Security to provide care and medicine for detainees, give them a chance to review their cases, and ultimately close the facility.
Turning back to geopolitics, Karen, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth delivered a major speech at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore over the weekend and got some attention for an issue he didn't mention, Taiwan. Later, Hegseth sought to assure allies that staying quiet on the island is the best way to project American strength.
The policy we have on Taiwan is the same as it was at the beginning of this administration. The only change you might see is how we talk about the entirety of it. What I talked about today was strong, quiet, but clear.
And Defense Secretary Hegseth's softer language was a sharp contrast to his address a year ago. It came weeks after Chinese President Xi Jinping warned President Trump in Beijing that mishandling Taiwan could lead to clashes.
Well, in South America, Nathan, a pro-Trump conservative outsider is making progress toward becoming Colombia's next leader. Celebrity lawyer Abelardo de la Espriella unexpectedly topped the first round of Colombia's presidential vote as Latin America heads into another highly polarized election. The conservative outsider insider, is in a strong position to become the nation's next president when he faces leftist Senator Ivan Cepeda, an ally of the country's current president, in a June 21st runoff.
Let's turn back to markets and the economy now, Karen. Former Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is warning the central bank will lose its credibility if presidents are free to dismiss Fed officials over policy disagreements. Bloomberg's John Tucker joins us with that story. Good morning, John.
Yeah, good morning, Nathan. Powell may no longer be Fed chair, but that doesn't mean he's about to back down on the issue of Fed independence.
If any administration finds a way to remove Fed officials over policy differences, then future administrations will do so as well. The public would lose faith that the central bank will make decisions based only on what's best for all Americans. The Fed's credibility would be lost.
Well, he was accepting the John F. Kennedy Profile and Courage Award in Boston. Powell's remarks come as the Supreme Court is deciding the fate of Fed Governor Lisa Cook. President Trump trying to fire her because, like Powell, she won't bend to the president's will. Powell endured countless verbal assaults by Trump and an investigation by the Trump Justice Department. Powell's remarks, his first public comments since he was succeeded as head of the central bank by Kevin Warsh. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, John, thank you. We have big news and big tech. Nvidia is entering the personal computer market with a new chip called RTX Spark Superchip. Its goal is to loosen Intel's stranglehold on the market and modernize machines for the AI era. The chip will debut this fall in leading brands, including Dell and Lenovo, and will run Microsoft's Windows for ARM operating system. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang says this is about rethinking the processor itself.
We built CPUs for humans in the past. We need CPUs for agents, agentic systems. The properties are different. Why would the old CPUs be the same?
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang spoke at the Computex trade show in Taipei, and checking shares of NVIDIA this morning, they're up more than 2%. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moscow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.